What's up guys, and welcome back to another Wynand Crypto video. Listen up, most traders have absolutely zero clue what's about to demolish this market, and all I'm saying is we're heading way higher. I dropped this bombshell on X recently, and guess what? People went crazy, claiming I'm just chasing engagement and that I've got zero evidence backing my bold predictions. But here's the thing, literally every piece of data we need is staring us right in the face, screaming that we should be trading massively higher than our current levels. Had to fire back with another tweet because people kept demanding proof under my post. They clearly haven't been watching the signs these past few months. Let me blow their mind with a reality check. The M2 supply, rocketing to unprecedented all-time peaks, trade tensions, cooling down with massive agreements in the works, money market funds, sitting on a historic $7 trillion pile of cash just waiting on the sidelines, institutional crypto adoption going through the roof, Bitcoin dominance approaching those critical macro resistance levels, Google Trends showing retail interest at rock bottom lows while Bitcoin and equities are literally millimeters from breaking new all-time records, crypto regulations accelerating hard with that August 1st deadline looming, stablecoin and tokenization growth, absolutely vertical trajectory, altcoin ETFs expected this year, and guess what signals those ETFs? Alt season, baby. I could keep rattling off dozens more reasons we're headed much higher, but the simplest explanation is this. People just can't see the forest for the trees. You're simply not bullish enough. What's absolutely insane is everyone's questioning whether we'll trade higher when Bitcoin's sitting pretty at 108.2k, the total crypto market cap just hit $3.32 trillion, fear and greed sits at neutral, and practically nobody gives a damn about crypto anymore. Last I checked, going back to December and January, almost nobody's talking about crypto because we've been moving sideways for 5 brutal months. Everyone's completely lost interest. They've jumped off the hype train entirely. Suddenly, crypto's the villain. Forget about it. It's done. We're probably crashing into the bear market territory from here, even though Bitcoin is still at those macro resistance highs. This is exactly why I've always said most retail investors will completely miss the biggest chunks of these cycles. They get shaken out right at the finish line. It's heartbreaking, but absolutely true. This is also why I've said before, don't let anyone tell you that you got lucky, because luck has nothing to do with it. This space is some easy money playground because there's constant capitulation, price destruction, insane volatility, manipulation, and liquidations happening non-stop. This isn't a walk in the park market to trade, but that's precisely why we're here, for the volatility, for those massive swings. At the end of the day, I genuinely believe almost every single price in this market will look dramatically different just 30 days from today. Give it 1 month. When it comes to XRP, it's hilarious because XRP has been pulling this exact move for weeks and months now. We've been stuck in this sideways downtrend, but now we're potentially forming a macro higher low of these April bottoms. I'm questioning whether anyone's actually prepared for what's coming next, because if Bitcoin starts smashing new all-time highs and Bitcoin dominance really starts cracking, that means XRP is about to explode significantly. And I'm not talking about reaching its previous $3.4 peaks. No way. I'm talking about all-time highs, at least $5 plus on XRP, with potential highs at $10 or beyond. Most people don't even think that's remotely possible this year. But remember what? Nobody thought it was possible that XRP would hit $3.40 back in January, when we're sitting here in October with XRP trading under 50 cents. Things move lightning fast in this market is the number one reason retail falls in love with this space. Is the reason we're all here. Everything moves at breaking neck speed, but here's the kicker. We're now hearing serious chatter from analysts talking about how XRP might be mirroring the bullish pattern. Watch this. Here's CoinDesk, which is typically anti-XRP, saying, now, the MACD keeps flashing red, but it's starting to cool down. This is happening at the exact same time the weekly chart shows price MACD divergence, while XRP trades around $2.18 to $2.20. We're getting that boring sideways price action after that significant downside wick. I think the upside potential here is absolutely massive on XRP, but I also think it's massive across most of the altcoin markets. Bitcoin's about to get a little boring. Everyone will keep screaming for 200, 300k, whatever. All Bitcoin really needs to hit is around 150k, 150k is totally fine, with Bitcoin moving up 2.5% in 7 days. This is why Bitcoin doesn't need to hit 300k or 600k like some people are claiming for altcoins to have that massive alt season. Speaking of the altcoin market, I shared in yesterday's video this post from blockchain backer Coinbase versus the altcoin market. You were not bullish enough. Look at this. This shows altcoins really lagging behind Coinbase. Then he updated it with this one here. Coinbase is taking out the December highs. You're still not bullish enough on your altcoins because Coinbase is retesting those December highs. When we think about altcoins right now, at $1.12 trillion, their December highs were around $1.6 trillion. This would also push XRP to retest its December highs at roughly $3.40. We'd probably break out and teleport to $5 pretty quickly. But again, nobody's aware of this because nobody actually believes it will happen. Just like when I made this post talking about going much higher, yet almost everyone thinks I'm just clickbaiting or engagement farming. There's no way. This is ridiculous. This is the number one reason retail will continue failing in this space. They don't actually see the momentum building behind the negative price action. And you guys, I have a special trick for you, which nobody seems to be using, and I cannot wrap my head around why. Because if you sign up through my link down in the description onto the BTCC exchange, you get a 10% deposit bonus, and now stay with me here. Now here comes the important part. If you have any trading capital on any other exchange and you move it to your newly created BTCC account, you get, on top of your capital you moved, another 10% extra trading capital. As an example, so if you move or deposit 100k to your account, you get 10k for free. I'm not kidding. I really don't understand why nobody's doing this. To me, it really seems like people sometimes are too lazy or just don't like free money. I mean, like, I cannot make that account for you. You will need to do that yourself, alright? So let's jump back into the video. But we've been witnessing incredible news around XRP, which tells us XRP is going to be a powerhouse altcoin this cycle. For example, recently, XRP Ledger processed 5.1 million transactions in 24 hours. XRP is already testing at scale, running the system while others wait for adoption. The XRP Ledger is doing the work in silence. This ledger was built for trillions. It's coming, you guys. Check this out. XRP Ledger set a new all-time record, 5.1 million transactions in 24 hours. What happened? It processed 5.1 million transactions in a single day, its highest ever. The surge was driven by real network activity with DEX, NFTs, and the performance stayed rock solid. No congestion, no fee spikes, no delays, all through utility, low fees. Even at peak load, fees stayed below a cent. When you think about what's happening here, the XRP Ledger and XRP are seeing massive momentum behind them. Even though we're trading at $2.19, people say we're still only at $2.19. Look at this all-time chart. This is extremely bullish in my opinion, especially when you zoom out. This is just consolidation before one of the biggest legs up in this cycle. I really think it will catch tons of people off guard because they're not paying attention. They're not being bullish at all. They don't see any bullish signs. They keep hearing all the negative world news and listening to fear-based headlines. This is just consolidation before one of the biggest legs up in this cycle. I really think it will catch tons of people off guard because they're not paying attention. They're not being bullish at all. They don't see any bullish signs. They keep hearing all the negative world news and listening to fear-based headlines. Then suddenly, they're doubting everything. This is why emotions tied to the space is probably people's biggest mistake. Beyond payments and transactions on the XRP Ledger, we saw another massive update. Aeon and Ripple team up to bring XRP and RLUSD to real-world payments from retail stores to restaurants. Stablecoin payments just got real. Online and offline across 20 plus million merchants, stable, secure, and ready for everyday use. The Aeon community is actually huge with connections to some of the biggest merchants out there. Love to see this. I think this is fantastic. They've been inking deals with major industry players, even ICP for example. I'm very excited about this. Again, this is more real-world utility tied to not just XRP, but RLUSD too. Very exciting stuff. Also going back to my original post where I mentioned ETFs, altcoin ETFs, When you think about altcoin ETFs, we already know XRP has some ETFs behind it. Number 1, we have a future ETF from CME Group. Watch this. Since launching on May 19th, XRP and micro XRP futures have shown demand across institutional and retail participants, highlighting interest in regulated tools to access one of the most watched crypto assets. This is huge because it's coming from the CME Group. They have almost 680,000 followers, and they're saying this is one of the most watched crypto assets. This is putting massive attention on XRP right now from the institutional side, especially considering you have stats behind it. Since this launch 1 month ago, 24.6k contracts traded, $542.8 million in notional volume, and 45% volume from outside the US. This is incredibly exciting. And we have spot futures launching on the 30th of this month too. Listen, we're seeing the ETF market opening up for XRP, and I think with all the ETFs we have behind XRP right now, that's going to pressure the spot ones to get fully approved. Even players like BlackRock to file for an XRP ETF because they see all the demand, the volume behind this, and the value they could bring in and make of these ETFs. On top of this, we've got another big update because we continue seeing the XRP ledger get upgraded. Check this out. Introducing XRP Ledger version 2.5.2.0, another major update showing us the XRP Ledger continuously gets major upgrades pushed out, and we still see building happening around one of the oldest DLTs in this space since 2012. XRP is on a completely different level than most projects out there, and I think at a time where we see regulations getting pushed through, the market really opening up, and big moves happening in the US for crypto to be embraced by institutions, big banks, even around mortgages right now, the focus has to be on utility-based projects that are fully professional, compliant, and have real-world value tied to them. Don't forget tokenization. Tokenization and stablecoin use cases are surging right now. What's crazy, if we go on rwa.xyz, we see XRP Ledger's RWA value now sitting at $160 million. This is actually up 37%. We have RWA holders here, stablecoin market cap up almost 31.37% exact. We're seeing that step function slowly, not extremely significant, but still about $3 million added to the XRP ledger. Look at this. We're seeing that come online from the real estate game through Control Alt. We have towers here showing all the properties. Over 1 million tied to this property, 118k here, 653k here, a 408k here. We also see T-bills up slightly, nothing crazy. This one's up about 1%, this one up about 0.07%, but the main thing was real estate tokenization initiatives getting added to the XRP ledger. Don't forget, we still have tons of stablecoins to be added to this list and additional tokenization values too. At the end of the day, within the next 30 days, we'll probably start seeing more and more value tied up to the XRP ledger through tokenization and stablecoins. I am incredibly excited about this. We're seeing significant growth across the board. When we really look at the networks, we can see this is just an upward push. Things are going absolutely crazy around tokenization, and I think this will continue being accelerated by the biggest players out there, especially as governments worldwide greenlight and accelerate tokenization and stablecoins. Buckle up, because the next 30 days are going to be absolutely wild. Smash the like button if you're ready to ride this crypto rocket to the moon. Subscribe and hit that notification bell because we're about to witness history in the making, and I don't want you to miss a single update when XRP and the entire altcoin market goes absolutely nuclear. Thank you very much for watching. Wynand Crypto out.